Good afternoon. Thanks a lot for staying with us here at CNN News 18. It's good to see all of you this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. We're beginning this broadcast with a mega CNN News 18 exclusive. After the recent arrest of a radicalized youth in Bengaluru, ISIS and Al-Qaeda-linked cadre have been arrested in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Asif Mustaheen and Yasir Nawab John were on the radar of intelligence agencies for some time now. Knives, an ISIS flag and incriminating documents have been recovered from their possession. We'll get you more details of how the arrest actually happened and what all has been found. But let's break down some details in terms of what was the modus operandi and what was their eventual plan. Now, this is what we're picking by the means of what intel sources are telling CNN News 18. The accused were planning big attack before 15th of August or the Independence Day. So that becomes very, very crucial to know the backdrop of when these arrests have been made. The accused were ready to even carry out a suicide attack. But that's not all. What we're also now picking up is that the accused wanted to target Hindus and monasteries. That's again a big factor to keep in mind before we go forward. The other aspect that we're also picking up is the accused were in contact with ISIS in Syria as well as Iraq. A lot has been found, as I pointed out earlier, knives, ISIS flag and incriminating documents as well. But let me first bring in my colleague Anand Narasimhan, who's joining us from our newsrooms. Anand, good to have you on the broadcast with us. This is a big exclusive that we're putting out courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. First, just break down for our viewers how this arrest took place and what all has been recovered.
Well, there are two parts to it. The two parts are that there have been ISIS cadre who have been arrested by the Tamil Nadu police in Tamil Nadu. And then we have Al-Qaeda cadre and Al-Qaeda influence cadre there has been a crackdown upon in Karnataka. So we'll get to the Karnataka part in just a bit. But these are two ISIS cadre who have been arrested on the 26th of July by the police. And this arrest has happened in Tamil Nadu. The two people who've been arrested are Asif Mustaheen and his associate Yasir Nawab John. They were both arrested in Erode. In the city of Erode in Tamil Nadu, that's where they have been arrested. What has been found in their possession, like you said, have knives, incriminating material with the ISIS flags, etc. They have been on the radar of the agencies for a while and their activities have been very, very closely monitored. But more importantly, Asif Mustaheen was in contact with the ISIS core in Syria. So he was in touch with the core leadership in Syria. He was even ready to conduct a suicide attack in India on the same. So along with monasteries that you talked about, Hindus and Hindu leaders that you talked about, even police stations were on their radar for attack, and he was in the process of planning an attack when this arrest has happened. Now, this is what we have got to understand, that Yasir Nawab John and Asif Mustaheen, highly radicalized individuals, and they were motivated enough to try and conduct attacks on Indian soil. So that's the first attack that has happened. That's the first crackdown that's happened. Then the IB, Intelligence Bureau, conducted another operation on the 24th of July. So this is 2 days before the 26th. And this happened in Karnataka, where the Bangalore police have arrested a pro-Al-Qaeda cadre or person. His name is Akhtar Hussain Laskar. He actually hails from Assam. He hails from Assam, but he's based out in Bengaluru, and that's where he's been arrested. Now, he was also, and based on Akhtar Hussein's inputs, they have then gone ahead across into Tamil Nadu and arrested a Salem-based Muhammad Juba. He's from Bengal. He's from West Bengal. And they have arrested, and he was arrested by the Tamil Nadu police. So the Tamil Nadu police, in the span of the last 3 days, say 24th of July and the 26th of July, they have been able to arrest 3 cadre, 2 of them from Erode, that is, who are linked to the ISIS, and one cadre who was in collaboration with another person in Bengaluru, and they were members of the Al-Qaeda or they were pro-Al-Qaeda entities. They were in contact with various foreign groups in Bangladesh and in Afghanistan, as well as other India-based pro-Al-Qaeda affiliates and entities. They also wanted to make a trip to Jammu and Kashmir and join the Al-Qaeda ranks with the intention of waging a war against India itself, and which they termed as jihad against India. Now, these are big arrests. They wanted to carry some bada karnama and big activity ahead of Independence Day, and that's where the issue was. And they were upset for various reasons, and they were highly radicalized. And now this is in conjunction with what we have put out here at CNN News 18, that there is high amount of radical vitriol that's being sent from across the border, and these are influencing and radicalizing minds, and people are getting swayed by it. This entire aspect of Sar Tan Se Juda, which was called, which was a call made by the Tehreek-e-Labbaik, and radical clerics were pushing this, and after Nupur Sharma episode, this was being pushed up. So any amount of cover fire that was being given was only emboldened these outfits to carry out. In fact, they were actually trying to carry out certain activities like beheading along with suicide activities, and they were looking at videos, and the knives that have been found in their possession are with this intent of carrying out some brutal attacks in the near future.
True. Anand, I'll just request you to stay on with us because the story is now getting murkier. Some other details that we are picking up as well. What we are also now understanding, and this is crucial, that initial investigation is suggesting these all people were closely following developments in Sar Tan Se Juda cases, wanted to carry out major attack, and for that they were trying to arrange material. They even searched material online as well as this jihadi material is concerned. I believe my colleague Harish is also now joining us with more details. So Harish, as Anand was also pointing out, one, the backdrop of all of this is very crucial. This crackdown happens in two states, in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, but before Independence Day. What more do we know as far as these accused are concerned, and how the radicalization took place on social media?
Well, especially in the case of Akhtar Hussain, who was arrested from Tilak Nagar area in Bengaluru, we do understand that he was propagating these extremist views on all these social media platforms. He was in touch with a few people via the direct messaging option on some of these social media platforms. He had travelled widely in Kerala and Tamil Nadu as well, and that's how he came under the scanner of the IB. And there were specific tip-offs that the IB shared with the local police, and that's one of the main reasons that the local police went about his arrest in a very planned manner. This wasn't just a random accused being picked up by police. In fact, there was a recce that was done. Teams were formed which ensured that they were in plain clothes around his house. They waited for him to return, and after that they ensured that they not just arrest him and also take other roommates of his into questioning in case they were involved in this whole nexus that was part of a larger nexus spreading across Karnataka and Tamil Nadu as well. And once he was arrested, there were more leads that they gathered, and later on another person, Juba, was arrested from Salem in Tamil Nadu. He's now being questioned as well. The police here who handed over this case to the CCB, saying that they are closely coordinating with the central agencies, including the IB, to ensure that the information that they pick up from whether it's Hussain or Juba is shared with all these agencies, and every person involved in this entire nexus can be arrested. They're also going through not just his technical records like his call records or his social media handles and the communication via them, but also on whether he was in touch with anyone here, where he had traveled in the recent past. His roommates, 3 of them, have already been questioned thoroughly. They haven't been arrested, but the police saying that nothing right now suggesting that all these 3 were in loop or they knew what he was up to, so they haven't been arrested. But they are keeping a close tab and finding out where else he had travelled in the last few months and a year or so, and what's the kind of communication that he's had.
Okay, I quickly